being recorded.
For connecting application and database. For connecting application and database, one software required. That software is called driver. How many categories of drivers are there? Two categories. What are those? ODBC drivers, JDBC drivers. How many ways are there to connect Java application and database? Two ways. What is first one? By using JDBC and ODBC drivers. Second one, by using only JDBC drivers. How many types of JDBC drivers are there? Four types. Four types of JDBC drivers. Okay. Type 1, type 2, type 3, type 4. If you want to connect with only both JDBC and ODBC, which type JDBC required? Type 1. If you want to use only JDBC, type 2 or type 4. Okay. Type 2 or type 4. See, first I'll explain about type 1 driver. Next, write it. Type 1 driver. JDBC, ODBC bridge driver. Type 1 driver. JDBC, ODBC bridge driver. Type 1 driver, JDBC, ODBC bridge driver. See, okay, before this point only, before this one only, just one point, write it. All JDBC drivers are classes in Java. Before this heading only, yesterday notes we write it otherwise. All JDBC drivers are classes in Java. All JDBC drivers are classes in Java. All JDBC drivers are classes in Java. See, yesterday I have shown this one. First, yesterday I given this one. See here, first non-Java applications came. First ODBC was there. At the time, non-Java applications and databases, they connected with ODBC. When Java came and exists in the market, then they developed Java applications. Java applications and databases, they connected. But what is happened? Connection failed. Connection failed. That is the reason type 1 JDBC driver came. Okay. That is the reason only type 1 JDBC driver came. Type 1 JDBC driver, it converts Java instructions into ODBC understandable format. That driver I'm going to explain. Okay. First type 1 driver came. See, all JDBC drivers are classes in Java. So JDBC type 1 also, type 2 also, type 3, type 4, all drivers are classes. Okay. Now write it. Driver class name. Driver class name. Sun dot JDBC dot ODBC dot JDBC ODBC driver. Sun dot JDBC dot ODBC dot JDBC ODBC driver. Sun dot JDBC dot ODBC dot JDBC ODBC driver. Type 1 driver, JDBC ODBC bridge driver. The driver class name sun.jdbc.odbc.jdbc driver. See, can we connect Java applications and databases by using only ODBC? No. That is the reason only JDBC came. That is the reason only JDBC drivers came. In that, first this one came, type 1 JDBC driver. That driver you are learning. Okay. Now, this driver class name is this one, sun.jdbc.odbc.jdbc ODBC driver. Say, sun is a package, JDBC is a sub package, ODBC is another sub package. It is a class name. Already know each word first letter is capital class. That's what J capital, O capital, D capital. JDBC, ODBC driver, J capital, O capital, D capital. Okay. JDBC, ODBC driver, J capital, O capital, D capital. Now, note, type 1 driver removed from JDK 1.8 onwards. Type 1 driver removed from JDK 1.8 onwards. So now this driver is not there. This driver is not there, removed from Java library. Type 1 driver removed from JDK 1.8 onwards. Type 1 driver removed from JDK 1.8 onwards. So this driver not available. You are learning only theory part. Writing program is not possible. Writing program possible, compilation execution not possible. Okay. Now about this type 1 driver you are learning. Write it. Type 1 driver functionality. It converts Java instructions or Java calls into ODBC calls. It converts Java calls into ODBC calls. It converts Java calls into ODBC calls. It converts Java calls into ODBC calls. Next, type 1 driver architecture. Type 1 driver architecture. Type 1 driver architecture. Type 1 driver architecture. Now, I'll give diagrams. Type 1 driver architecture. Here, Java application. Java application. In this application, application code as well as type 1 driver. Write this architecture. Type 1 driver architecture. Application code. Type 1 driver. JDBC, ODBC, bridge driver. Here, ODBC tool. ODBC tool, Java application, application code, ODBC driver. It is database. Type 1 driver architecture. Online students, if any doubts are there, write it in your notebook. End of the session, I'll give a time for doubts. At the time, you can ask. Okay. Online students, if any doubts are there, write it in your notebook. End of the session, I'll give a time for doubts. At the time, you can ask. Is it over? See, all JDBC drivers are classes in Java. So driver is nothing but one Java class, but not only one Java class. For you appears one class only associated with many classes because you studied in core Java. How many types of relationships in core Java? Java? Two types. What are those? Is a relationship, has a relationship. Like that, driver class for you one only appears. Driver class one only appears. That class associated with many classes because it is on software. Driver is nothing but one piece of software. That's what for you appears like a one class, but that class associated with many other classes. So that means multiple classes will be there. Many classes will be there. That class will load in a program. That class will load here. Application code, that is JDBC library we use. This is totally called one Java application. So JDBC driver is a part of Java program. JDBC driver is nothing but one class. That class will load in Java program. Nothing but JDBC driver is a part of Java program. But ODBC tool, ODBC driver, it is outside Java. Oracle database outside Java. This is Java program. So this is Java program. So this Java program contains JDBC driver. So JDBC driver type 1 driver is a part of Java program. In the Java program only will load. That is in Java program only will be there. This application code contains type 1 driver. This driver communicate with ODBC tool. That tool contains ODBC driver with that database selected. Like this communication is going on. Now year 1 driver, year 1 driver. It is JDBC driver, it is ODBC driver. Okay. See, it is JDBC driver, it is ODBC driver. Just you observe, I'll open here, just I'll type ODBC. ODBC. If I click this, this is you are getting. This is called ODBC tool. So this is practically no need to learn because the driver is not there. That is already given note. Type 1 driver removed from JDK 1.8 onwards. Now present Java 18. It is JDK 1.8. Java 8 only removed. So 8 years back only removed. 2014 1.8 came. At that time only removed. Now practically no need to learn. It is not possible. Now this is ODBC tool. ODBC tool. In this tool, here, if you click, Here it is showing drivers. Now understanding architecture purpose, I opened that. Type 1. This is understanding architecture purpose, that is open. One Java program will write one Java program. In that program only type 1 driver will be there. That driver communicates with this dialog box. The driver will communicate with this dialog box. See, Java application communicating with ODBC tool. Nothing but this is ODBC tool. In this ODBC tool, here drivers are there. If it is Oracle, then here Microsoft ODBC for Oracle. This is one driver. This driver communicates with database. See, this Microsoft ODBC for Oracle also one software, and this tool also one software. This database also one software. Your Java program also one software. So my Java program communicates with this one, and this one contains ODBC driver. With this driver, database connected. So like this communication is going on. Like this communication is going on in type 1 driver. Type 1 driver. So what is a type 1 driver functionality? It converts Java calls into ODBC calls. For understanding purpose, this diagram also note down. 1 minute. Okay, I removed that one. 1 minute. This one only. Here only. What you do is you write like this. See, with the diagrams only you get a clarity. Now what you do is here type 1 driver functionality. For understanding, like this write it. Now write this one. Type 1 driver functionality. This is write this diagram. This diagram also note down. So why type 1 driver came and exists in the market? For understanding this diagram, best one. Write this diagram also. Java applications. Online students, if any doubts are there, write it in your notebook. End of the session, I'll clarify your doubts. Is it over? Say Java applications and databases, they connected with ODBC, but connection failed because Java application instruction ODBC cannot understand. That is the reason type 1 JDBC driver introduced. What this driver will do, it will receive these instructions and it converts into ODBC understandable format. Now I'll ask some questions, give me answer in this diagram. Type 1 JDBC drivers, one driver or many drivers? How many drivers? One driver. ODBC drivers? Many drivers. Every database different. Every database different. But type 1 JDBC driver is one driver. One driver for all databases. Because this is directly not interact with database. This will interact with only ODBC. Okay. So problem is here. The problem solved with type 1 driver. The problem is here. That is solved with type 1 driver. Okay. Next node. Type 1 driver. Type 1 driver developed in C language. Type 1 driver developed in C language. Type 1 driver developed in C language. So type 1 driver developed in C language. But I said all JDBC drivers are classes in Java. But I am saying here it is developed in C language. How it is possible? It is possible. You already studied somewhere native keyword while learning in core Java. So declared in Java, defined in C with a native keyword, that facility is possible in Java. Okay. Type 1 driver developed in C language. Next point. Type 1 driver developed by Sun Microsystems. Type 1 driver developed by Sun Microsystems company. Type 1 driver developed by Sun Microsystems. No. Type 1 driver advantages. Type 1 driver advantages. See, just now I given architecture. Just now I given architecture, and one more diagram also I given. Two diagrams I given. Now, type 1 drivers, one driver or many drivers? One driver. If you want to change the database, is it required to change type 1 driver? No. Is it required to change ODBC driver? Yes or no? Yes. But that means Java program is same, no? Java program no need to change. What you have to change? ODBC driver. But ODBC driver is not a part of Java program. It is outside. It is outside. So if you want to change the database, you need to change here. You need to change here. You have to change here driver. You have to select another driver. But type 1 JDBC driver in Java program is same. So if you want to change the database, what you have to change? ODBC driver you have to change. But JDBC driver, no need to change. That is the advantage, no? So write it. Only one driver that supports all ODBC enabled databases. Only one driver that supports all ODBC enabled databases. Only one driver that supports all ODBC enabled databases. Only one driver that supports all ODBC enabled databases. So ODBC supported means type 1 driver you can utilize. But ODBC also not supported by database means that is not possible. Hundreds of databases are there. Almost 99% of the databases support ODBC. That database not supported by ODBC, suppose. That database, if you want to connect with type 1 driver, not possible. But only one driver that supports all ODBC enabled databases. If you want to change the database, you have to change only ODBC driver. Java program is same. Because Java program, you are writing JDBC driver. That is common to all databases. That's what no need to change. That is advantage. But disadvantage only this one. Disadvantage many are there. Write it. Type 1 driver disadvantages. Type 1 driver disadvantages. First disadvantage, performance overhead. Since Java calls should go through via JDBC and ODBC drivers. Performance overhead. Since Java calls should go through via JDBC and ODBC drivers. Performance overhead. Since Java calls should go through via JDBC and ODBC drivers. Type 1 driver disadvantages. Performance overhead. Since Java calls should go through via JDBC and ODBC drivers. Performance overhead. Since Java calls should go through via JDBC and ODBC drivers. See, here what will be happen is Java application you connected to Oracle database by using type 1 JDBC driver, by using ODBC driver for Oracle. From this Java application, you'll pass one SQL query. The query passed like this. Again, it comes here like this. It is passed. Then database reached. But here, between Java application and database, two drivers are there. Two drivers. One is JDBC driver. One is ODBC driver. Okay. Two drivers. That's what communication very slow. So performance is poor as compared to all other drivers. This driver performance is poor. That is the reason this driver outdated. Only with this reason only this driver outdated. With this performance overhead, since Java calls should go through via JDBC, ODBC drivers. So this is the main drawback of this one. See, 1 second also people are not waiting in internet. While downloading data from database, if you use this driver, it takes more time. But in internet, 1 second also people are not waiting. Performance, high performance is there, it will become popular. With this reason only it is outdated. Okay. Second reason, database client software needs to be installed on local system. Database client software needs to be installed on local system. Database client software needs to be installed on local system. Database client software needs to be installed on local system. See, for example, 5 computers are already studied database software. If I install, how many parts install? 2 parts. What is first part? Database application. Second part, database. Database application is front end or back end? Front end. Database is back end. Database application is client or server? Client. Database is server. Like that is studied, no? So application part we can call it a client. Database, we can call it as server. But here, what is that point is, suppose 5 computers are there. 5 computers are there. In 5 computers, these 5 computers connected together as a one network. Connected together as a one network. Now, in this system, database installed. Assume in this computer, database installed. In this computer, database installed. But you are running Java program here. Your Java program is here. In this program, you have a Java program. Okay. Your Java program is in this computer. Database is in this computer. This Java program, I want to connect to this system database. It is possible. Java program can be anywhere in the world. Database also anywhere in the world. That purpose only Java came. Java especially made for internet application. It is just a LAN, local area network. Okay. And now database in this computer, Java program in this computer. This program I want to connect to this system database. Now database in another computer. I want to connect. Possible. In the Java program only JDBC driver will be there. In the Java program only JDBC driver will be there. But database is here. But ODBC driver where it is required? In this computer required. Okay. That is a problem. What is the problem is, suppose in this computer also will write Java program. Then ODBC must be here also required. In this program also will write Java program. Here also ODBC required. In this computer also Java program will write. Here also ODBC required. That means in every system ODBC driver required. ODBC tool required, ODBC driver required. That is burden to system administrator. Suppose 200 computers are there. In 200 computers, you have to install the software. Database only in one computer you can install. But ODBC in every computer you have to install. That is also drawback. That is called client software. So database client software. So client related all softwares in every system you have to install. That is one disadvantage. Okay. Now type 1 driver developed in C language. C language is platform dependent or independent. That is also one disadvantage. It is a platform dependent. It is a platform dependent. It is a platform dependent. Okay. See, database client software needs to be installed on local system also disadvantage. Client system software in every computer you have to install. That is also one disadvantage. It is a platform dependent. It is also one disadvantage. And performance overhead, main disadvantage this one. Communication is very slow as compared to all other drivers. Communication is very slow as compared to all other drivers. With this reason only, type 1 driver outdated. With this main reason, this one only. With this reason only, type 1 driver outdated. Okay. This is about type 1 driver. This is about type 1 driver. Type 1 driver program writing possible, compilation execution not possible, because that software already removed from 1.8 only removed. That's what no need to learn. Long back only we stopped to teach. Okay. See, this is about type 1 driver. That is the reason type 2 driver came. Next type 2 driver came. Okay. Next. Is it clear about type 1 driver? See, first of all, starting ODBC was there. Non-Java applications and databases, they connected with ODBC. Non-Java applications and databases, they connected with ODBC. When Java came, same style they connected, but connection failed. That is the reason type 1 driver came. Okay, but what is the disadvantage is communication is very slow because year 1 driver, two drivers. This is the reason type 1 driver outdated. This is the reason type 1 driver outdated. Next, type 2 driver came. Okay, next heading, type 2 driver. JDBC native API driver. Type 2 driver, JDBC native API driver. Next point. It is also called as partial Java driver or partly Java, partly native driver. It is also called as partial Java driver or partly Java, partly native driver. Type 2 driver, JDBC native API driver. It is also called as partial Java driver, partly Java, partly native driver. See, partly Java, partly native driver, partial Java driver. Here one name is there. Here one more name is there. Here one more name is there. Okay. Now already given drivers are developed by first party vendor, second party vendor, and third party vendors. So many companies they developed. Many companies. First party vendor driver are available. Second party vendor driver available. Third party vendor drivers also available. Different companies, different types they developed. Many drivers are available. Different companies, different names they given. But that's what all very difficult to remember. That's what in interview also 1, 2, 3, 4 number only they are asking. What they are asking? Type 2 driver advantages or type 2 driver disadvantages or type 2 driver functionality. This type questions only they are asking, but they are not asking native API driver, partial Java, partly native like this. Because different companies, different names are given. All you cannot remember. So popular names only are given. Why they given like this is for developing this driver, they used Java also, they used native language also. C, C++, Java, all mixed for developing this driver. But type 1 driver developed in which language? Only C. Only C. But type 2 drivers developed in C, C++, Java, mixed. Partly Java. Java also added. Partly native. C, C++. Native. In a Java programming, native keyword also is there. Native keyword. Native keyword, if native appears, then you can understand C, C++. Because Java derived from C, C++ language. C, C++. From C language, syntax derived. From C++, OOPS derived. With that, Java came. From C language, syntax derived. From C++, Java, from C++, OOPS derived. C language syntax, C++, OOPS. They combined, they introduced Java. Okay. Java native, C, C++. That's what word native. Java native plus C, C++. Okay. Like that we are calling native. So partly Java, they used Java. Partly native, C, C++ also. That's what companies they given. Partly Java, partly native driver. Little bit Java used. maximum native they used. At the time they given partial Java. Here maximum native they used. Here maximum native only 3 places. But one company given like this, one company given like this, one company given like this. Names. Okay. Next, write it. After giving architecture, I'll explain. Write it. Type 2 driver architecture. 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 Java application, application code, type 2 driver. Now this program also will explain. Type 2 driver program. Type 1 removed from software. That's what not possible. Java application, application code, type 2 driver, JDBC native API driver, native libraries, database. See, all JDBC drivers are the part of our JDBC drivers are classes in Java. So that class will load in Java program. So JDBC driver nothing but it is a part of Java application only. But additionally, we require native libraries to understand database. This library required. This library we have to load. Then only communication possible. But in a type 1 driver architecture, between Java application and database, ODBC was there. ODBC. But type 2 driver architecture, native libraries required. So that language library mandatory. Then only database can understand. That type required. Here, this is type 2 driver architecture. One more diagram I'll explain to understand. Is it over? For this one, ODBC not required. For this one, ODBC not required. Type 1 driver disadvantage only, that is the type 2 driver without ODBC possible. Okay. Now, this is type 2 driver architecture. One more diagram I'll give. Write this one. Java application. Note down. JDBC driver. JDBC driver for Oracle. Separate drivers are there. Type 2 drivers. JDBC driver for MySQL. JDBC driver for dash dash. So every database separate driver. So it is Oracle. It is MySQL. Type 2. Type 2. Type 2. Type 2 drivers, many drivers, not one driver. Every database separate. Type 2, type 2, type 2. See, this driver only for Oracle. This driver only for MySQL. This driver only for DB2. This driver only for Derby. This driver only for Sybase. Like that, every database separate driver. Every database separate driver. Type 1 drivers, how many? One or many? One. Type 2 drivers? Many. Suppose if you want to change the database, is it required to change the Java program? Type 2 drivers are different, no? Now, Java application contains type 2 driver. Type all JDBC drivers are the classes in Java, no? If you want to change the database, is it required to change driver? Yes, but in type 1, no. Type 1, what you are going to change? ODBC driver. But in type 2, JDBC only you have to change. JDBC program, Java program you have to change. Okay, separate driver required for every database here. Now, is it over? Write it. Type 2 drivers are developed in Java language and native language. Examples: C and C++. Type 2 drivers are developed in Java language and native language. Type 2 driver functionality. It converts Java calls into native calls. It converts Java calls into native calls. Type 2 driver advantages. Type 2 driver advantages. It is fast as compared to type 1 driver. It is fast as compared to type 1 driver. Type 2 driver disadvantages. So I given as compared to type 1 driver only fast. Type 3, type 4 very fast. That's what as compared to type 1 driver I said. Here separate driver required for every database. That is disadvantage. Separate driver required for every database. So if you want to change the database, you have to change the driver also. Separate driver required for every database. See, type 1 JDBC driver, one JDBC driver only that can communicate with all ODBC enabled databases, any database. But if you want to change the database, you need to change the driver. That is disadvantage here. That is disadvantage. Okay. But here also many drawbacks are there. That is the reason only type 2 driver also stopped to use. Now present type 3, type 4 only popular. Type 1 outdated. Type 2 stopped to use. Type 3, type 4 popular. Okay. So here type 2 driver disadvantage, separate driver required for every database. Separate driver required for every database. But here one more disadvantage. Suppose 5 computers are there. 5 computers are there. Now 5 computers connected together. 5 computers connected together. Database installed in this computer. Java program installed in this computer. This Java program, if you want to connect to this database, it is not possible. This is the main disadvantage of this driver. Wherever Java is there only database required. Wherever Java is there only database. That is the main disadvantage. So database needs to be installed on same computer. Database needs to be installed on same computer. Database needs to be installed on same computer. So wherever Java is there only database required. That is one disadvantage. And also, while developing, what is happened, for every database separate driver required. While implementing drivers, type 3 architecture, type 4 architecture introduced in the market. When type 3, type 4 architecture started, this is stopped to implement. That is the reason all databases are not having type 2 driver. So even if you want to connect with type 2 driver is not there. Then how will connect? That is also one disadvantage. All databases are not having type 2 drivers. All databases are not having type 2 drivers. All databases are not having type 2 drivers. Next, here also C, C++ mixed, no? It is also platform dependent. It is also platform dependent. It is also platform dependent. You observe, advantages are more or disadvantages are more. That's what this is also stopped. Okay. Here also advantage 1, disadvantage 3. But type 3, type 4 advantage more, disadvantage less. So type 1 driver outdated, type 2 driver stopped to use. But it is possible to write program. Still it is there, not outdated. Okay. Because standalone application. Suppose some application standalone. Application installed in this computer and running on this computer only. That is called standalone. Application installed here, running on all computers. That is called distributed. See, application installed here. You can run here also, run here also, here also, here also. That is called distributed. Standalone means same computer. Some applications will be there still. Suppose supermarket application is there. Supermarket that doesn't have other branches. In that computer only required. That type of applications possible. Okay. So all database are not having type 2 drivers. It is also platform dependent, and database needs to be installed on same computer. Separate driver required for every database. So these all disadvantages of type 2 drivers. Okay. With this reason only stop to use. But how to develop type 2 driver program, I'll show you. Next. Now remaining drivers after program. After program. Okay. Now programming I'll explain. Write it. Steps to develop database application. Steps to develop database application. First step. Steps to develop database application. First step, loading a JDBC driver. Second step, establishing a connection. First step, loading a JDBC driver. Second step, establishing a connection. Third step, performing the task. Fourth step, closing a connection. First step, loading a JDBC driver. Second step, establishing a connection. Third step, performing the task. Fourth step, closing a connection. Steps to develop database application. First step, loading a JDBC driver. Second step, establishing a connection. Third step, performing the task. Fourth step, closing a connection. See, it is Java application. It is Java application. Now, here it's a one database. It's a one database. Now, it is one database. First, what we have to do is loading a JDBC driver. In this program, we have to load driver. In this program, we have to load driver. That is first step. That is first step. Second step, establishing a connection. Now, these two we have to connect. These two we have to connect. Once if the connection is established, you can create a table, you can insert record, you can update record, you can delete record, you can modify record, you can retrieve records, whatever you want you can do, that is performing the task. At last you have to close this connection. So these are the steps you need to follow to develop database application. First of all, driver you have to load. Next, establish the connection between Java and database. Once if the connection is established, you can perform task. After completion of your task, you have to close the connection. So these 4 steps you need to follow for every program. Now, first of all, I'll show you only 2 steps. One program, only 2 steps. Loading a JDBC driver, establishing a connection. Okay. But if you want to load the driver or if you want to establish the connection, first of all, Java library required. Without library, single program also not possible. Okay. For that, JDBC API. Note down. JDBC API. API. JDBC API. JDBC API is a Java API. JDBC API is a Java API that can access any kind of tabular data and data especially stored in RDBMS, Relational Database Management System. JDBC API is a Java API that can access any kind of tabular data and data especially stored in RDBMS, Relational Database Management System. JDBC API is a Java API that can access any kind of tabular data and data especially stored in RDBMS. Say Java library, we are calling like a application programming interface. That is you studied in core Java class only. Java library, we are calling like a Java API. The Java API only divided into number of parts in the JDBC API. JDBC API, Solidus API, JSP API, Reflection API, like that parts divided. So JDBC API is a part of Java API only. Java API divided into number of parts, like that one JDBC API. What this can do is it can access any kind of tabular data. Tabular data nothing but table format. But not only database data, any kind of tabular data. Suppose MS Excel is there. MS Excel is it database? No. MS Access is database. MS Excel spreadsheet. MS Excel sheet will be there, no? That data also we can access with JDBC. So any kind of tabular data, but especially RDBMS, Relational Database Management System. So RDBMS nothing but Oracle. Oracle is RDBMS. Like here, Java JDBC what purpose introduced is for RDBMS purpose introduced, but it can access Excel sheet data also. That is the reason I given like this. In this API, 2 packages are there. Java.sql package. One more, Java X.sql package. Java.sql package. One more, Java X.sql package. And even Java X.sql.rosette package. Java.sql package, Java X.sql package, Java X.sql.rosette package. First package, Java.sql. In this package, classes, interfaces, classes, interfaces, classes and interfaces. First class, driver manager. Write clearly. From here onwards, programming, coding. Okay. Tomorrow, totally program only. But core Java, you prepare and come, whatever you studied. Otherwise, you cannot understand tomorrow. So yesterday class, today class, this theory. But tomorrow, programming. Driver manager, driver, SQL exception. Write clearly. Each word first letter capital. No space between words. Connection, types, statement, date, prepared statement, time, callable statement, result set. Each word first letter is capital and no space between words. Result set, metadata. Write clearly capital letter, small letter. Write clearly. Capital letter, small letter, write clearly. Driver, connection, statement, prepared statement, callable statement, result set, metadata. Eighth one, database metadata. Ninth one, blob. 10th one, clop. 5 classes, 10 interfaces in this package. 5 classes, 10 interfaces. Five classes, 10 interfaces. So with this library only we can develop applications. Next package, Java x.sql package. Java x.sql package. Here interfaces, we have only one interface, Rosette. Java x.sql package. Interfaces, just Rosette. Next, Java x.sql.rosette package, third package. Java x.sql.rosette package, third package. Here also interfaces. Each word first letter is capital, whatever I written as it is, write it. So first package, 5 classes, 10 interfaces. Second package, one interface. Third package, 5 interfaces. JDBC Rosette, cached Rosette, web Rosette, filtered Rosette, join row set. With this, we can develop application. JDBC row set, cached row set, web row set, filtered row set, join row set. 5 row sets, 5 interfaces. Is it over? So this complete library required to write programs. If you are familiar with library, writing program is nothing. How to access library? If you know, writing program is nothing. Now, you already studied package. What is package? Collection of classes and interfaces, even including subpackages. Okay. What is class? Collection of variables and methods. What is the interface? Once again, interface is a collection of public static final variables and public abstract methods. Interface is a collection of public static final variables and public abstract methods. See, you observe interfaces are more. You observe here 10 interfaces, year 1 interface 11, year 5. How many interfaces? 16. 16 interfaces, 5 classes. Interfaces are more. Interfaces are more. So while learning core Java, where we use interface, your doubt is there. Here tomorrow you'll understand. Okay, what is the benefit of interface? You'll understand in real time. See, all our interface on 16 interfaces are there, 5 classes are there. Okay, where we use interface, you'll understand tomorrow class. Okay, now I'll ask some questions, give me answer. Can we connect Java application and databases by using only ODBC? No, that is the reason only JDBC came. How many types of JDBC drivers are there? 4 types. Okay, type 1, type 2, type 3, type 4. But unofficially type 5 also came, but that is not included in JDBC specification. Type 5 also is there, but that is unofficial, not included in the specification. That is no need to learn. Okay, type 1, type 2, type 3, type 4. Now first type 1 came. Java application instruction ODBC not understanding. To solve the situation, type 1 came. But with type 1, it will take more time to establish the connection. It will take more time to send data. It will take more time to receive data. Performance point of view, it is poor. Performance overhead. Since Java call should go through via JDBC and ODBC drivers, 2 drivers required. That's what communication is very slow. That is the reason type 1 driver outdated. That's what type 2 drivers came. But type 2 driver, if you use ODBC not required, we can use only JDBC driver. ODBC driver not required. But here also problem is there. Every database separate driver required. And also it is also developed in C++ also. Platform dependent. And database should be installed in the same computer. Actually, Java made for internet application. Java program can be anywhere in the world. Database can be anywhere in the world. That type application purpose only Java came. But if this type is there, Java not suitable for internet application. If it is like this, that's what type 2 drivers also stopped to use. That's what type 3, type 4 came. But type 3, type 4, I didn't explain. That later I'll explain. Now, type 2 program I'll explain tomorrow. Type 2 driver program. So complete JDBC program, you'll understand tomorrow. After completion of type 2 driver program, type 3, type 4, I'll cover. Okay. First type 2 driver program I'll explain. For that only steps I given. These steps we need to follow. First, we have to load the driver. Next, we have to establish the connection. We have to perform the task. At last, close the connection. If you want to perform this all, you require library. Tomorrow, for tomorrow class, core Java knowledge is compulsory. Okay. Public keyword, static keyword, final keyword, this keyword, super keyword, abstract class, interface, abstract method, whatever you studied in core Java, up to exception handling, whatever you studied, you prepare and come. Otherwise, tomorrow class you cannot understand. So tomorrow programming, you prepare and come. Otherwise, tomorrow class you cannot understand. Okay. We'll see continuation tomorrow. Object-oriented principles complete required. Online students wait 5 minutes. Online students wait 5 minutes. Now, online students, you can ask your doubts. Yeah, object-oriented programming knowledge is mandatory for tomorrow class. Okay. Database, yeah, you have to install database. I'll explain. Tomorrow class I'll explain. Google Classroom link still not created. I'll inform. Not created. ODBC driver developed in C language. JDBC driver, type 1 driver not available in 1.8. So 1.8 onwards, the driver is not there. Why the given bridge driver is between Java application and database, ODBC, JDBC, both required. It's like a bridge. That's what they given name bridge. Okay. Multiple screens are appearing. Okay. I'll make it. That is not my side, admin side. I'll inform them, they'll make it. Multiple screens are there. Okay, I'll inform them, they'll make it, they'll do changes. Notes, I'll share in PDF files. Already prepared notes is there. I'll share in Google Classroom. Calls nothing but instructions also we can call. Type 4 driver, thin driver, both are same. Programming in Eclipse, just after 1 week I'll show you. Type 2 driver, why it is stopped is database needs to be installed on same system. That is the main drawback. Database, yeah, Google Classroom is going to be created today, just within 1-2 days they'll create. I'll inform, they may create today or tomorrow. I'll inform. Type 2 driver used Java also C++ mixed. That is the reason dependent. Java API nothing but Java library. JDBC JPA not same. Java persistence API, that is. It is JDBC we are using database. Type 1, type 2 developed in C++. That is the reason dependent. Admin is not responding. Okay, I'll inform them. Tomorrow, same link. Not in a JDBC 3 packages, not in a complete advanced Java. ODBC drivers, no need to install that program also. I'm not going to teach. It is already outdated. No need to learn. NASCAM students, no need to pay the fee. NASCAM, full stack Java, those who joined for full stack Java, no need to pay the fee. Full stack Java students, no need to pay the fee. Creating ODBC, We have to create DSN, data source name. That is burden to programmer, burden to admin. API, application programming interface. It's nothing but library. If you want to use MySQL connector record depends upon Eclipse version you have to select. API nothing but library, Java library. Application programming interface. Driver is database dependent. Yes. Admin not responding. Okay, I'll inform to respond. ODBC not required. Leave it. ODBC no need to learn. OCP, JP details. Yeah, I'll inform. I'll provide. I'll send mail. I'll give reply. First, type 2 drivers are introduced. Implementation started for every database. While implementing, type 3 came. Then type 2 drivers, some drivers are stopped. Only few driver developed. That's what other databases are not having type 2. With advanced Java simultaneously, if you want to study, you can learn testing. Testing, you can learn Oracle, you can learn HTML, you can learn. Driver, type 1 driver, type 2 driver, sharing application. No, type 1 driver, if you want to change the database, type 1 driver, no need to change. If you want to change the database, type 2 driver, you have to change. Advanced Java duration 70 days. Utility nothing but very regular usage. Classes are called utility classes. JDBC, ODBC not required. The type 1 driver outdated. Java language, C language, C++ language mixed for type 2 driver. That's what platform dependent. For learning Spring framework, Hibernate, for Hibernate, JDBC required. For Spring, Solid's required. Okay. If the application developed in Java program, Java means we can call it Java application. That is communicating with database means we can call database application. HTML, CSS also required. Even if you don't have a knowledge about HTML, CSS, you can understand advanced Java class. At least later you can join. Any other doubts? We'll see continuation tomorrow. For tomorrow class, prepare and attend. Core Java knowledge required for tomorrow class. Core Java knowledge required. JavaScript not required to learn advanced Java. You can understand. We'll see continuation tomorrow.